Hey everyone, welcome to the Veloci Race Review. I'm Aaron McNanny.
And I'm Pat Brown. Today we're going to be going over the Applecross cyclocross race that took part a little bit north of Scranton in Honesdale, Pennsylvania.
Right, so here's the start of the A race. So truth be told, this was one of the races that we put on as a team, Lackawanna Valley Racing Team. It was our first cyclocross race. Really great experience putting it all on, and honestly we're looking forward to a pretty solid 2018. So we didn't have a Cat 1 through 5 scenario. We had like a race and a B race. So this is the A race, and you can see we have some masters, we have some juniors, we've got some middle of the ranks type people like myself.
Mm-hmm. And there was actually, a fat bike, a guy who's participated and done very well at the national fat bike or mountain biking
Rob Price
race. Yeah, so
good
really
time.
a good mix of people. It was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
It was great to get that insight.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe coming into here, there's actually a little crash.
Yeah, Austin Banks, who is the honestly like the U19 champion in this area. He's really dominates the category 3-4 scene. We're lucky to have him come out to the race from young medalists. So yeah, we're kind of coming through this section right here, and I will say that was a very greasy section.
Yeah, it was quite cold this morning. I think at this point in the day, stuff was starting to unfreeze, and so the conditions throughout this race in particular, I think, were ever changing.
Right. Yeah, and a little bit about the course. It was very pedally. There was, I would say, bordering a power course. There were some quite technical sections, but a lot of pedaling through corners and curves. Part of that was because the course was designed so well. One of our locals, Rob Ost, designed the course, and everything flowed so well that you could just pedal through quite a bit.
Yeah, not a lot of braking. I had only ridden this a few weeks before we actually set up this race, since I had a knee injury, and I barely had to brake throughout the whole thing, which was great, saves energy. And also those kind of courses are a lot of fun. You can see here we're going into a little bit tighter section, and what we're going over now is sand. And there was a few different parts of the course that had a good amount of sand, and even where you had to turn a little bit. So that added to the technicality, but you could usually make it through, which was nice.
Mm-hmm. So we're still sort of in the front half of the course. This is kind of coming around the end of the front half of the course. We're kind of in the back of these woods, hitting up some single track. About right here, the ground got really rough. Like, I'll show you in a minute here, but it felt like you were on a bucking bronco at points.
Yeah, just naturally how the ground. I think that's
Rob Price. Yeah.
Yeah. So naturally the ground, it's hard, which means it would normally be really fast, but because there are a ton of ridges really close together, it was almost like rumble strips you were going over, which kind of slowed you down.
You could never hit the rhythm right, and it was rough.
Yeah, that's coming up right here. I believe it's right around this left-hand turn.
Yeah, so really all I was trying to do was keep as much power as I could without slipping my rear wheel out on those little cobbles or little bumps. And around this corner, we come in through the spectator area. I think you'll notice I'm in 4th place right now, and surprisingly, I'm looking at my heart rate for the first time. It's pretty low. I mean, 168 beats per minute is not that much. But it was cold that morning, and quite frankly, I didn't have any time to warm up because of putting on the race.
All the administrative stuff. Yeah, I would say I've looked through a lot of this video, and your heart rate was pretty low for the whole thing. I don't know. Did you have coffee that morning?
I didn't feel good, that's for sure. And I just kept on bleeding spots because it was so pedally. There's very little room to recover. I can't think of any sections where you're really not pedaling. And because of that, you're just constantly putting out the power, constantly putting out the watts, and just kept bleeding positions.
So this is a little tricky climb. A lot of this here is just a bunch of pine needles and that, so there's not a lot of traction. And then we're going to go in through, this is a technical corner, very washed out.
And then you hit that big root right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we're gonna basically this video is gonna be almost one whole lap here. So you're
Spencer
gonna really
King.
Yeah, you're going to really get an idea of the course. I'm sure next year we'll make a few slight tweaks, but I think it's really a solid course. What we had a little mix of a lot of different things. We're going to be heading into a section here with a lot of sand, where you'll actually have to turn through the sand. There's a little bit there on the right.
Actually, I think I really biffed it on one of these corners here in a second.
Yeah, you can start seeing the sand.
See.
Oop, almost lost it a little there.
Yeah, and this was really kind of roughed up right here. Yeah, that's where I was
there
like,
you go.
oh no. And 170 beats per minute, I wouldn't, very close to redlining. I mean, I was huffing and puffing at this point.
But you see there are guys who are on mountain bikes who are doing this race, and that corner was a little bit easier, but then they had to put down a little bit more power for those long straightaways.
Spencer King on the single speed, of course.
Oh, right, yeah.
That, I believe, is Brian Hazinski, so really strong Masters racer. This section is another power section where you're coming along this pull here, you're just putting out as much power as possible and going into what I would call the back half of the course. So, yeah, quite a bit of twisties up here.
Yeah, there's actually coming up probably about 15, 20 seconds, we have a little technical climb. So you need to make sure that you're in a really low gear. This is actually a really steep part. So you need to make sure you're in a low gear and prepared for it. Because if not, then you'll really be stopped in your tracks. It's a little technical, a little turn.
Yeah, this little section here, I tried to stay in the saddle as much as I could because of how slick it was getting, especially on these final two hairpin turns, like right there. Actually, you can see that it's getting a little muddy. And as I've transitioned from a complete road rider to racing cross, I've done almost like 50, I think I've done almost 20 races this year, cyclocross. That's been one of the techniques that I've had to focus on and learn is that whole getting out of the saddle and being able to put out power without spinning out your back wheel. It really does require a different sort of technique where you kind of have to thrust your hips forward a little bit more and make sure the weight is getting into the ground and kind of like that your weight is sitting on the bike so you maintain that traction.
Yeah, distributing your weight is key when it comes to, especially in mountain biking as well, when it comes to making sure you don't lose traction, because in anything off-road, traction is really king. And
you could say like, oh, stay seated, but you can only stay seated for so long, and there are some climbs where you really do need to get out of the saddle and crank on the handlebars, and unless you have that skill, you're going to be spinning out.
Yeah. So we're coming in. We're basically heading to the start-finish line now. But there's one last technical section. So we'll do some more switchbacks, and then
another set of barriers.
Yeah, we'll hit a set of barriers, and then there's a really interesting climb where I don't think, even if the pros were here, I don't know if they'd even make it up.
Rob Price wrote it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he after the race he went and he wrote it. So kind of crazy.
It's
I couldn't have done it. That's for sure.
Very difficult. It was a steep climb, and especially with all the ruts from all the riders running it today. I think that'd be very difficult to ride.
Yeah, and it was difficult. We'll talk about when we get to it, but yeah. So you see all these switchbacks, really nice grass, and it just totally favored the rider that could put out solid power, keep the pedals turning, and I mean, notice all these guys passed me, and I'm just moving back. Brian Hazinski, right there in front of me, he just keeps pulling away further and further. So it's unfortunate.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to podium every race, even if you're feeling fit. I mean, sometimes you'll have off days, and really that's all right. That comes with cycling. That's why you don't see Peter Sagan winning every race, Yeah.
Well, pretty close. Oh, yeah. I remember looking over and I saw Austin Banks, the U19 rider. He went down there, which is unfortunate. I don't think he went down. I think he just grabbed the tape.
Gotcha. So here's that little technical part. We're right close to the end of the lap here.
So you hit these barriers, and then you remount for 15 feet or something.
Yeah, less than.
And then you get off again, and you got to run up this thing, and you have about 15 yards to get clipped in again. And if you don't get clipped in, which 9 out of 10 riders couldn't, so you got to get clipped in. If you're not clipped in by here, you're kind of screwed. So
'Cause
there's that root
little
right there.
root, yeah.
And it's just like, oh,
This
stop.
part is definitely very technical, and you see, we have like a little descent after this, and then it goes right into where you saw at the beginning of the clip,
Yeah,
where we had the
sprint.
start. So right here, there's only 200 or so meters left.
So we
maybe
had a little
less.
bit of a video difficulty with this particular file, so this is kind of where we're going to leave off. But overall, it was a fantastic event. We had a great turnout for our first year. Next year, like I said, it's going to be part of the PACX series, and
maybe a part of the Brewers Cup as well.
Yeah.
Depending, we'll have to see.
yeah, so great event, and hopefully you can come out and join us next year.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, thanks for joining the Veloci Race Review. We put these on, try to get them out about every week and show you races and bring you race coverage from cyclocross and road races around the area. If you have any questions or feedback, reach out to us. Otherwise, I'm Aaron McNanny.
And I'm Pat Brown. We'll catch you next time.